My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. Well, Jesus, today in your gospel, you lead us into childhood again. You invite us to be humble to hear your word, and that you speak a word to us which will find a place in our heart, not a heart which is haughty, not a heart which is set up on a pedestal, but one that is ready to listen to you. And so we're like little children. And it's kind of natural, of course, this time of year in Advent as we're preparing for Christmas. And it's a lovely time for our children. And we think of all the little children throughout the world who are preparing to put on nativity plays and to be in the scene in Bethlehem. And so we want to be a little bit like that as we hear what you say to us in the gospel today. Filled with joy by the Holy Spirit, you said, I bless you, Father, Lord of heaven and of earth, for hiding these things from the learned and the clever and revealing them to mere children. Yes, Father, for that is what it pleased you to do. Everything has been entrusted to me by my Father, and no one knows who the Son is except the Father, and who the Father is except the Son and those to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. You go on, Jesus, to say more in the gospel, but this is just what I want to focus on in our time of prayer. We're kind of accustomed to looking to our elders, to learn from the wisdom of our elders. And it's good and proper because those who have gone ahead of us, who have more journey of life, they have more experience. But I heard a professor saying, a very wise old professor saying recently, we were always told to listen to our elders, but now I say the opposite. I say, listen to the young people. He said, because whenever I prepare something to put on the computer, I have no idea how it works. So I have to ask a young person, because young people are great at being able to figure out how to put pictures and music and slideshows and all the rest. And I take his point because it seems that the younger you are, the more adept you are at using all of the things of the world, the modern technology. Sure, of course, we will need the wisdom of the ancients to be able to bring all of these things to their rightful, proper place. But there is something about being young today, especially in today's world, which is a distinct advantage. But what you say is not just about being young, but having the heart of a young person. To not reveal these things to the learned and clever, but to children, shows that children are important to you. In a world, in a time whenever children were not important, especially in the first century, children were kind of regarded as little people in waiting, that only until they had made their bar mitzvah at the age of 13, then a man could be taken seriously, so to speak. And children were just kind of getting in the way until they grew up. Now, of course, we see things a little bit more differently. And we're helped in that by what you say to us, Jesus, in the gospel. Because children are not an inconvenience, but we see in their nature, their joy, their delight, something of the spiritual childhood which you are inviting us all to return to. My niece was born some months ago, and it's fair to say that she is the center of our family. I just have the one niece, and she is the total center of attention, let me tell you. And for those of us who were used to getting the attention before, we have to set that aside because she is definitely getting all the attention. And she has done absolutely nothing to merit the attention, it should be pointed out. All she did was be born. And that's all a child does need, to be born. A little baby grabs all of our attention and all of our hearts. And they're just the center of everything, center of our world. We do what we can to please them. They cry and we go running. They laugh and we all laugh with them. And we look at them and make googly sounds so that they will smile, and we can take lots of pictures. But they're the center of the attention, and they do absolutely nothing to deserve it. This is kind of what it's like to be a child of God, that we don't merit or deserve any of the attention that you give to us, Lord, and yet you shower your love upon us. In fact, quite the opposite. We're probably a little bit more like toddlers, that we run around and we create havoc, and we could do better, but instead we mess up. And sometimes we realize and we know that we should do better. Other times we're just kind of ignorant and we're just running around like little crazy children. And yet still you are lavishing your love upon us. When I think about this passage of the gospel, I think also of the little children of Fatima. And in fact, of all the people to whom our Blessed Mother has shown herself. We think about these little children in Fatima who in 1917, in the midst of a terrible world war, whenever there were great, intelligent people from all walks of life who were strategizing and looking for ways in which they could come to bring an end to the war, the First World War that was bringing so much death and destruction in Europe. And so, let's say that there were many important people who were on the world stage at that time. Yet Our Lady did not come to any one of those. No, she chose 3 small children who had not even made their first Holy Communion. And it's a beautiful reminder to us of the purity of the child's heart, that the child can see what we cannot see. And children are kind of black and white at times, They have kind of a good moral code often, whereby they know what is right and what is wrong. And they'll very quickly tell you, that's not right, you shouldn't do that. They're also very good at telling on you, which is not a particularly good trait to encourage. But it's a sense of justice that they have, at least if you're doing something wrong, that they point out. If you point out the other way around, maybe they're not so quick to agree with you. But then that is what it is to be a child. So these children to whom Our Lady reveals herself, it's a constant reminder to us that what is precious in your eyes, Lord, is not the fame and the fortune or all of the intelligence that we can muster, though these are all gifts that you give to us, and when we have them, we should make good use of them. But ultimately, they don't feature so much whenever you look at us with love. Instead, you look at the heart. You look at hearts that are humbled. You look at hearts that are eager to please, hearts that can recognize you in all things. And so, when we hear these words in the gospel, they resonate with that idea of the spiritual childhood. We think of little baby born in Bethlehem, that all those who came to adore, the shepherds, the wise men, but then what about the passers-by, those who were maybe seeing the shepherds rush over, and maybe they come and look in, they peer in, and what do they see? They see a mother, a father, and a little baby. But it means nothing to them. Unless we have those humbled hearts to recognize that this little baby is more than just a little baby, that it is the center of our world, the center of our life, that is you, Jesus. And then everything can change for us. And so it's to try and have that humble disposition, like a little child. We see how little children love to run up to the nativity scene to see the baby Jesus and to see Our Lady, to see all of the figures there. Oh, that we could be like that we could run with great joy to Bethlehem. Wouldn't that be a nice way of putting our Advent together? That I run like a little child to Bethlehem. And then it forces me to set aside other things, the other things that my adult life has kind of encumbered me with, that I can be truly humble, that I can not be learned and clever as the world sees it, even though I might yearn for these things. But I want to be a child of God. A child of God who is ready to receive the baby Jesus into my heart and into my life for all of the things that you can do for me, Jesus, by saving me from my sins, by giving me the gift of the Eucharist, by revealing yourself to me on a daily basis, to know that you're truly with me. So Jesus, help us to be like the little children of the gospel today. Help us to look at all of the little children around us at this time of the year, busily preparing for Christmas, to remind us that we too need to prepare for Christmas as your little children. I give you thanks, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me during this meditation. I ask your help to put them into effect. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.